Welcome to Lesson 4 of Section 8 of Hope. In this section, you have deeply explored forgiveness from a biblical perspective and its importance to the healing process. Experiencing, receiving, and living in forgiveness as given by God is what completely heals us from both the pain of the past and for abundant life going forward. Receiving and giving forgiveness is true freedom and is only available in Jesus. In this lesson, we will review the reflection questions and healing activities in your guide for Section 8. So let's begin with the initial questions for reflection. First, identify and share some insights you have gained from this section on forgiveness, and explain what God revealed to you as you consider this important component of healing. Second, identify who you are currently struggling to forgive and list the specific resentments you have toward them. Fearlessly and honestly identify the people and specific resentments toward each that you are most aware of, if you haven't already done so in a previous lesson in exploring your painful wounds. Third, identify and describe what you think your current barriers to forgiving the person you identified are, either internally or externally, and be as specific as you can. Next, let's briefly review some exercises to help you experience forgiveness on a deeper level. As you complete these exercises, be in prayer, asking God to complete a healing work in your emotions and to free you to live more fully in His love. First, remind yourself daily as you get up of your commitment to forgive, but that it is also a process, asking God to do His part and for the grace to do yours. Next, write a short prayer to God in the space below in your activity guide about where you are at in the forgiveness process and what you need from Him to move forward now. Next, make a post in the private community or share in a weekly coaching call the person or persons you need to forgive and one specific reason why. Don't use their names, but describe their relationship to you, such as your father, aunt, neighbor, spouse, etc., and ask the community to pray for you during this time. Remember, community members are not to give advice, only offer encouragement and prayer. But we want to come alongside you as you move toward this important step in forgiveness. Also, share in your post or in the coaching group where you are at in the forgiveness process. Be completely honest with where you are and ask for prayer in specific ways that could be helpful as you consider moving forward. Next, write down a target date for when you will complete a ceremony to bring the sins against you and your own to the cross to officially release them. Ask God for guidance on when and how you should do it, and write down your ideas in the space provided. Remember, the main sins of your own that you may want to bring are the ones where you may have been struggling with resentment or bitterness or other such things. It's not that God hasn't already forgiven you for those things, but it is important that we acknowledge and confess them again so that we can be clean. Then share again in the private community or in a coaching group what you will do for your ceremony of forgiveness and when you plan to do it. Also, feel free to ask for ideas or comments until you determine the appropriate type of ceremony that you think will work best for you. Think through these specific things. Where is the best place for you to do it? Who, if anyone, will you invite? What actions or ritual will you complete during the ceremony? Next, write a letter to yourself about ways you have hurt yourself, disappointed yourself, or feel guilty or responsible for the things that happened or choices you made in response to your trauma. Be completely honest and thorough. Close the letter by telling yourself you forgive yourself and have permission to completely be forgiven and move on in love and grace going forward. You do not have to post or share this letter. However, set a target date in your activity guide for when you hope to write it. When you are finished, I highly encourage you to share your experience and what you gained with the private community or during a coaching group. Lastly, write a letter to God expressing your honest feelings about where you felt He was, or how you felt hurt or abandoned by Him during your trauma or painful past experiences. Then pray and write a letter from God to you, using your imagination and knowledge of the Bible to let the Holy Spirit lead you to describe the truth about how He really felt about you, feels about you, and how He saw the situation, and how He now wants to set you free to live in His love. Close your letter with words of thanks and trust as you feel led, and in expressing your decision to let go and forgive yourself and Him and receive His love and blessing toward you in return. Again, you do not have to post or share these letters, but set a target date in your activity guide for when you hope to write them. And when you are finished, please share your experience and what you gained with the private community or during a coaching group to encourage others with what God has done in you. As you can see, there are several significant exercises to complete as a part of this final stage of healing emotional wounds. All of them can be important in helping you to work through the final feelings and layers of your hurt. Please make sure to take the time needed to thoughtfully and prayerfully complete them and allow God the opportunity to work deeply in your heart and shed His love towards you there. When you have finished the assignments as described in the Reflection Activity Guide, post your work in the private community and join a coaching call with questions or to share your thoughts. In the next section of Hope, you will learn about how trauma and painful past experiences affect your core beliefs about yourself, God, and others, and how to heal and reprogram them. I look forward to seeing you in the next lesson as we explore these important next components of the healing process.